Hey, what's up, my wonderful peeps, and welcome back to another episode of the Make a Statement podcast. Man, I'm telling you, it is really tough to keep up with everything going on here in our country and abroad. First and foremost, congratulations to President Trump on the Supreme Court in a 9-0 decision to ensure that he stays on the ballot. Now, you know that's got to aggravate a lot of people who are attempting to have him removed, especially that loonbo out there in Colorado and the local judge in Illinois, and the Secretary of State up in Maine. So there you go. He's on the ballot. Final. Well, see, there is so much political news coming out, but let me focus on what Sleepy Joe's coming out and telling everyone right now. Now this goofball is talking about trying to ban assault kinetic projection devices if they get back in office come time to drop that paper in the box in November. It's amazing how they keep saying that it's their responsibility to do this. However, little do they know that the specific right that is provided to us to defend ourselves is not something that is merely an amendment, but rather an inalienable right that has been given to us by God. Therefore, that right cannot be taken away from us. So if our rights are provided to us by our Creator, then obviously they cannot be stripped by man. It's no wonder why the left has such a deep hatred against God. So imagine this, if they could strip away our 2A right, then they will attempt to strip any other of our rights away from us as well. Let that soak in if you're on the left side of the tracks. Now, that's just one area where things should have the hair standing up on the back of your neck. But wait, there's certainly still more to come. Meanwhile, while all this nonsense is going on surrounding President Trump, we have the leader of Russia specifically saying that if any NATO boots end up on the ground in that specific European country, we all know what we're talking about there, that he will use his nuclear devices against us. And now there's supposed evidence that he is indeed moving his arsenal to strategic locations. And purportedly, U.K. has already placed boots on the ground in that conflict. I want someone out there, please, explain to me why do we see it necessary to keep fueling that conflict and inching us closer to an all-out war with Russia? I'm telling you right now, and I want you to hear me loud and clear, we are literally on the very edge of an all-out war. Now, while all the tensions and military pieces are being put into place all around the world, we keep having all of these absolute sham trials involving the former president crammed down our throats. And I believe it's nothing more than a diversion tactic for what's really going on around the globe. Oh, and did you hear what Letitia James is up to now? Besides trying to bankrupt our former president with that sham court case up in New York, she is now suing the largest meat packer in the U.S., claiming that they lied to the American people about climate change and the impact that, catch this, the impact that cow farts have had on it. Not like we are enduring an invasion on our southern border or anything. And like that, we're literally seeing tens of thousands of illegals coming in who, in my honest opinion, are secret operatives for the very countries from which they are coming. But I'm sure time will reveal that. And while I just dived into that in regards to illegals coming across our border, what exactly is going to become of the person responsible for the murder of Laken Riley down in Georgia? Oh, I'm sure they'll probably offer him a kiss just to fly back home. I hope the family of that poor girl that was brutally murdered is lawyered up and holds the mayor of that city in Georgia accountable, as well as anybody else who had a part in allowing illegals across the border. And seeing as they claim to be a sanctuary city, I think they should be hung out to dry. And while I'm on that, it might be time for the GOP to find a new speaker, since it's becoming apparent that Mike Johnson is cutting deals with the devil himself. You know, Shifty Shift, that works in keeping the southern border wide open. Yep, you heard me correctly on that one. Now I want you to think about this. With the passing of every day that you make it home safely brings you one day closer to when something as tragic as what happened to Laken Riley could happen to someone you know and love. Let that thought sink in for just a moment and marinate. And for those who are saying, oh, it will never happen in the community or to anyone where I live or whom I love, I can almost bet at one point in time, the family of Laken Riley may have felt the same way. Now they are having to mourn the brutal murder of her at the hands of an illegal in our country. Are you starting to see the big picture here yet, folks? People, it is time to wake up to what our government is allowing to take place in this country. Here's a simple no-brainer plan. How about we stop all of the money from us going overseas and complete the wall that President Trump started and this stooge current administration dismantled on the very first day in office? Now, maybe, and I'm just spitballing here, maybe it's time for America to stop acting as the world's police and begin policing what is going on here at home. We cannot keep funding all of these countries and their wartime efforts and supplying them with the necessary arsenal required to continue the battles. All the while we are depleting our very own stockpiles. Now, you got to know that China is watching with a close eye. They know that we are rapidly emptying out our stockpiles of weapons. And once they realize that we are at a critical landmark, if we're not already, then that's when they are going to make their move on Taiwan. Because there's no possible way that we can manage a two-front conflict between dealing both with what's going on over in Russia with Ukraine and between China and Taiwan. And let's not forget whatever the heck that Kim Il-jung is up to there in North Korea. And what's taking place in Iran to the store country. And for those who think that we still have the strongest, most capable military in the world, I'm here to tell you, I think it's time you wake up. We now spend more for DEI training than we are spending in replacing the very basic of things we need to participate in conflict. And furthermore, the Navy has now removed the need to even be a graduate or have a GED. Most all of our branches of the military haven't even come anywhere close to the number of recruits they need to meet their goals. And can you imagine why? I mean, seriously, for a true patriot, who would want to go sign up and serve knowing that you're going to have all this crammed down your throats? We have more folks right now getting out than what are going in. And you think we can stand against a military who has millions of members participating? Scary time, folks. I'm a combat vet of 10 years, but I'm here to tell you we need someone in control of our country that will bring our morale back to what it used to be, and one that our troops will respect and be proud to serve under. And what's even more alarming, and this itself should concern everyone, is the fact that the ultra elite like Zuckerberg and Musk and several other high profile people are building multi-million-dollar underground bunkers. Now, regardless of what you think about those folks, there's something you need to keep in mind. And that is they are very well connected with the very people who are in the know. And I'm sure they have been given plenty of upfront warning of what is soon coming down the road. And particularly Elon Musk. I mean, come on. Not too long ago, SpaceX just launched a special military asset into space for Space Force on the very same day that Russia sent something into space as well. Now, you don't think he knows what is fixing to go down? If you don't, I want to encourage you to take this time. We'll take a brief pause here so you can dig your head out of the sand, because that's exactly where it appears to be. And who remembers, it's not probably forgotten by a lot of people by now, but here just a couple weeks ago, remember that little so-called software glitch that AT&T and nearly all of their American customers experienced just a little over a couple weeks ago? Now there's supposedly an inside rumor going around, various high-profile people that know that it wasn't a software glitch, and that we may very well see another episode in the very near future. Now, what absolutely scares the very life out of me is even if we get remotely close to that special time in November, and we find ourselves in the middle of a hot military conflict that we might find ourselves knee deep in, and if the current administration uses a special constitutional power that would enable him to declare a special kind of law, that would prevent the drop in the box from taking place. Now, that's providing if the DNC allows him to stay in a position to run. However, I don't see that happening, and I'm almost sure they are going to try and talk him into stepping down and having a replacement ready to step in right before that magical moment in November. And even though I had, pre-scripted this and wrote a lot of this out, I could see him doing something like Newsom, Big Mike. But what's ultimately scary here is now I've actually heard purported rumors that they may attempt to run the wildebeest again. However, I'm very confident, based off of the last contest between President Trump and her, that she'd get more than just a shellacking. But nonetheless, still a very scary thought about the proposition of the Dems trying to run the wildebeest. Now, I'm telling you, folks, this has to be one of the weirdest points in time in my entire life. And to be completely honest, I am scared of what the future holds for this country. Yes, I believe in God and realize He is in control and can do anything. That being said, it's important to see just how bad that this very country has spit in the face of God, and I believe we are reaping what we have allowed to take place in this country. But look, I'm no biblical scholar by any means and don't even want to go down that road. However, I'm just saying, there is a lot of evidence that leads to the destruction of this country being fulfilled right now before our very eyes. And in the back of my mind, when everybody's, talking about different foreign countries threatening nuclear war against us, I live in western Arkansas, so we're basically located between Whiteman Air Force Base, Barksdale Air Force Base, Jacksonville Air Force Base, and Tinker Air Force Base, all of which are on the top 10 list of strategic targets for our largest adversaries who possess nuclear arsenals that they would want to hit. I think I'll just pull out my lawn chair and enjoy watching the show and count down the time before something happens, whether I end up dying because of a nuclear blast or let's hope maybe Jesus steps in before that and calls everybody home. Who knows how that's going to happen? I am a post-tribber, a lot of folks believe that the rapture is going to take place before that. I do not. That's neither here nor there. And talk about all of the outright pandemonium that would take place. I can assure you of this, we will certainly see the very worst that society has to offer witnessed in an event like that. And not like we haven't begun to already see that taking place right now. Switching up bases here for just a moment, has anyone besides me noticed that social media platforms such as X and YouTube have become the new preferred media outlets? I mean, seriously, think about this for a minute. Who actually watches the late night news anymore? The only way people find out different things or clips of things from the different news outlets is via quick clips that they've either seen on X or Twitter or any other platform. And it's exactly why Tucker Carlson can be 10 times bigger now since leaving Fox. He gets way more exposure on X and on his own network than Fox could ever afford to him. And we won't even talk about that joke of a show on TV called The View. Oh my Jesus, what a joke. Going off track here for a moment, but it's just me, or is it just me? Or is there anyone else out there that would like to get a hold of both Whoopi and Joy Behar and dump them into oblivion? I mean, into just, woof. I don't want to have that discussion because the language that I, personal feelings after them too wouldn't be pretty. And what's amazing with as poor viewership that those shows have, I don't even know how they manage to stay on the airwaves. Folks, I'm here to tell you, every one of us need to be in deep prayer for the protection of this country because I am truly concerned that in the current direction we are heading, we may not be a country that is on top for much longer. I do want to encourage you to make sure, please, make sure to tell your family you love them. And if you don't already, find a good church to go to and be an active part of. Because when things get super rough, it's going to be the churches and the communities who support them that will be there in the end to help people. Look, I'm obviously no fortune teller. Don't even believe in that stuff. And I don't know what the future holds. But I do know it's not going to be pretty. I can assure you of that. I want each of you to ensure that you keep your head on the swivel and maintain situational awareness. Please keep making a statement and share this podcast with a friend or a family member. If you're listening to me on YouTube, if you wouldn't mind, take time, gives me a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, I encourage you to do so. It's free. And it certainly will help me reach more people that love and care about this country, just like each of you. Until next time, be blessed and peace out.
I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah. Now that I've been put through, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.